The air grows still, an almost eerie calm settling over the sprawling city of Los Angeles. It's a stillness that feels unnatural, as if the city itself is holding its breath in anticipation. The sun, usually veiled in haze, glares down with an unsettling intensity. Its rays pierce through the atmosphere, casting sharp shadows and creating a stark contrast between light and dark. The familiar haze that often blankets the city seems to have vanished, leaving behind a sky that is almost painfully clear. Palm trees, icons of Los Angeles tranquility, begin to sway to an invisible rhythm, their fronds rustling with an unnerving energy. It's as if they are whispering secrets to each other, secrets carried on the wind that is yet to come. The movement of the palm fronds is both mesmerizing and disconcerting, a prelude to the chaos that the Santa Ana winds will bring. This is the unsettling prelude to the Santa Ana winds, a meteorological phenomenon as much a part of Los Angeles as the Hollywood sign or the Pacific Ocean. These winds are notorious, their reputation preceding them. They are known for their ferocity, their ability to change the very character of the city in a matter of hours. These winds, originating in the arid Great Basin, descend upon the coastal plains of Southern California, bringing with them not just a change in weather, but also a palpable sense of unease. They travel across the desert, gathering heat and speed before they finally reach the city, where their impact is felt almost immediately. Unlike the cool, moist breezes off the Pacific, the Santa Anas arrive with a vengeance, hot, dry, and volatile, capable of transforming the landscape from idyllic to incendiary within a matter of hours. The air becomes charged with a kind of electric tension, a tension that can be felt in every corner of the city. Their arrival is often heralded by a shift in the wind, a sudden gust that carries with it the scent of dry, sun-baked earth. This gust is the first sign, a warning that the Santa Anas are on their way. The wind picks up speed, carrying with it dust and debris, creating a sense of urgency and foreboding. The humidity plummets, leaving the air parched and electric. The moisture is sucked out of the atmosphere, replaced by a dryness that seems to crackle with energy. This drop in humidity is not just uncomfortable, it creates conditions that are ripe for disaster. Temperatures soar, sometimes by 20 degrees or more in a matter of hours. The heat is oppressive, bearing down on the city and its inhabitants. This sudden rise in temperature adds to the sense of unease, as if the city itself is being transformed by an unseen force. This dramatic transformation is not merely uncomfortable. It sets the stage for a phenomenon that has plagued Los Angeles for centuries, wildfires of extraordinary ferocity. These fires, fueled by the hot, dry winds, can spread rapidly, consuming everything in their path. The Santa Ana winds, with their unpredictable nature, turn the city into a tinderbox, ready to ignite at any moment. To understand the Santa Anas, one must journey eastward, away from the Pacific, and delve into the intricate dance of atmospheric forces that shape these powerful winds, and into the heart of the continent, where the story of the Santa Ana winds truly begins. The winds are born in the high deserts of the Great Basin, a region of elevated plateaus and arid valleys stretching across Nevada and Utah. This vast expanse, characterized by its stark beauty and harsh conditions, serves as the birthplace of the Santa Ana winds. Here, during the fall and winter months, high-pressure systems often develop, their dense, cool air seeking an outlet. These high-pressure systems are a result of the cooling of the desert air, which becomes denser and sinks, creating a pool of high-pressure air. Meanwhile, along the California coast, the Pacific Ocean, still relatively warm from the summer months, fosters areas of low pressure. The contrast between the warm coastal air and the cooler desert air inland sets the stage for a dramatic atmospheric interaction. Air, like water, seeks equilibrium, flowing from areas of high pressure to areas of low pressure. This fundamental principle of physics drives the movement of air masses across the landscape. This pressure gradient between the Great Basin and the California coast is the engine that drives the Santa Ana winds. The greater the difference in pressure, the stronger the winds that are generated. As the dense, high-pressure air flows westward, it encounters a series of mountain ranges, the Sierra Nevada and the San Gabriels, forming a formidable barrier. These mountains play a crucial role in shaping the character of the Santa Ana winds. These mountains act like funnels, compressing and accelerating the air as it is forced through narrow canyons and passes. The compression of the air increases its speed and temperature, transforming it into the hot, dry winds that are characteristic of the Santa Anas. This process of compression is not merely a matter of physics, it is also a key factor in the wind's dangerous nature. As the air is compressed and accelerated, it can reach speeds of up to 100 miles per hour, creating conditions that are ripe for wildfires and other natural disasters. The Santa Ana winds, with their fierce intensity and unpredictable behavior, are a powerful reminder of the dynamic forces at play in our atmosphere. As the Santa Ana winds are squeezed through mountain passes, they undergo a process known as adiabatic heating. This process is a fascinating interplay of physics and nature, where the very act of compression causes the air to heat up. It's a bit like nature's own way of turning up the thermostat. This phenomenon, a fundamental principle of thermodynamics, dictates that as air is compressed, its temperature rises. Think of it as a natural law that governs how energy is transferred and transformed in the atmosphere. When air molecules are forced into a smaller space, they collide more frequently, generating heat. Imagine a bicycle pump. As you push down on the plunger, compressing the air inside, the pump gets noticeably warmer. This is a simple yet effective analogy to understand adiabatic heating. The same principle applies to the Santa Ana winds, but on a much larger and more impactful scale. The same principle applies to the Santa Ana winds. As these winds are funneled through the narrow mountain passes, they are compressed and heated, transforming them into hot, dry gusts that sweep across the landscape. As they are forced through the mountain passes, their descent into the lower elevations of the Los Angeles Basin acts like a giant natural bicycle pump. This descent is not just a simple drop in altitude. It's a dynamic process where the air is continuously compressed and heated, intensifying its temperature and dryness. This adiabatic heating, combined with the wind's already dry nature, results in a dramatic drop in relative humidity. The air, which started its journey with some moisture, loses it rapidly as it heats up. This creates an environment where the air is not just warm, but exceptionally dry. The air, already thirsty from its journey across the desert, becomes even more parched as it warms, eagerly sucking moisture from any available source: vegetation, soil, even the air itself. This relentless quest for moisture leaves the environment desiccated and vulnerable. This creates an environment primed for combustion, where even the smallest spark can ignite a conflagration. The dry vegetation acts like kindling, ready to catch fire at the slightest provocation. It's a precarious balance where the natural elements conspire to create a tinderbox. It is this combination of fierce winds, low humidity, and high temperatures that makes the Santa Anas a harbinger of fire, transforming the Los Angeles Basin into a tinderbox awaiting a spark. The winds, with their relentless force, fan the flames, spreading fire rapidly across the dry landscape. This is why the Santa Ana winds are so notorious, turning a beautiful region into a potential disaster zone with their furnace-like blast. Los Angeles, with its sprawling urban footprint nestled amidst a tapestry of canyons and hills, is uniquely vulnerable to the dangers posed by the Santa Ana winds. The city's rapid growth, often encroaching into wildland areas, has created a dangerous juxtaposition. Millions of people living in close proximity to highly flammable vegetation. The chaparral that blankets the hills surrounding Los Angeles is adapted to fire, but its dry, resinous nature makes it exceptionally combustible when exposed to the extreme conditions brought by the Santa Anas. The city's topography further exacerbates the fire danger. The steep canyons and hillsides, while picturesque, act as natural chimneys, funneling the already powerful Santa Ana winds into concentrated blasts. These wind tunnels can accelerate the winds to hurricane force, turning even small fires into fast-moving infernos that race uphill with terrifying speed. The combination of dry vegetation, steep terrain, and powerful winds creates a perfect storm for wildfire disasters, a reality tragically etched into Los Angeles' history.